Hey everyone, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a skill that, let's be honest, we all think we're great at, but most of us, not so much. I'm talking about listening, not just hearing sounds, but really understanding the person behind the words. You ready? Let's dive in.
So let me ask you a question, and be honest with yourself. Are you a good listener? I don't just mean nodding along politely. I mean, are you truly effective? Do you actually remember the little details people tell you? Do people walk away from a conversation with you feeling like they were genuinely heard? It's a tougher question than it sounds, because for most of us, there's this huge gap between the words coming into our ears and what our brain actually hangs on to. And that right there, that's the heart of the problem. We tend to mix up hearing and listening, but they are worlds apart. Hearing, that's just your ears doing their job. It's automatic, it's a passive sense. A car alarm goes off, you hear it. But listening? Listening is a choice. It's an active sport. It's your brain firing up and saying, okay, I'm going to work to understand what this person is actually trying to tell me. All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll nail down that crucial difference between listening and just hearing. Then we'll look at language's 4 key skills to see where listening fits in. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty, the 5-step process your brain goes through, the difference between intensive and extensive listening, and then 10 rock-solid principles you can start using today. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for the end, where we'll see how listening is basically a superpower for speaking.
All right, section 1, listening isn't just hearing. This is so important. It's a conscious process you choose to do, not an automatic thing that just happens. Okay, moving on to section 2, language's 4 key skills. To really get why listening is so vital, we gotta see how it fits into the whole communication toolkit.
So, check this out. Think of communication skills like this. You've got your output skills, right? That's what we call productive or active skills, speaking and writing, the stuff we create, but you can't create anything out of thin air. You need input first, and that's where the receptive or passive skills come in, listening and reading. This is how we soak up information, and you can see right there, listening is the oral bedrock for pretty much everything else. Okay, so if listening is this fundamental building block, how does it, work? What's actually happening up there in our brains? Let's get into it with section 3, the 5-step listening process. So before we jump into the steps, let's be super clear on what we're aiming for here. The goal is what's called active listening. And what that really means is having the ability to accurately, receive and interpret what someone's saying. It's not just hearing the words, it's getting the message right every single time. So how do we pull this off? Well, it's like a 5-step dance happening in your head. Step 1 is receiving. That's you making the conscious choice to actually focus. Then step 2, you move to understanding. You're trying to decode what the message really means. Next up, step 3 is remembering. You got to store that information away for later. After that, step 4, you're evaluating, judging the content. And finally, step 5 is responding. This is how you show you're engaged. It's the feedback loop. It could be a nod, a question, anything that says, I'm with you.
Okay, but here's the thing. Not all listening is created equal. You wouldn't use a sledgehammer to hang a picture frame, right? You got to use the right tool for the job. And that brings us to section 4, intensive versus extensive listening. It's all about switching your listening mode.
Let's break this down. Think of it like your brain has 2 listening gears. First gear is extensive listening. This is your chill mode. You're listening to music, a podcast in the background while you do chores. It's for pleasure, you're relaxed, you don't need to catch every single word. Then you have intensive listening. This is when you shift into high gear. You're super concentrated. Maybe you're in a class trying to learn something or getting important directions from your boss. The real art is knowing exactly when to shift from one gear to the other. All right, enough theory. Let's get down to brass tacks. How do we actually do this better? Section 5 is all about that. 10 principles for better listening. This is your practical guide to becoming a master listener. And to set the stage for these, I absolutely love this quote from Mark Twain. He said, "If we were supposed to talk more than we listen, we would have 2 tongues and 1 ear." I mean, that pretty much says it all, doesn't it? Let's keep that 2-to-1 ratio in mind. Okay, principle number 1. And honestly, this might be the toughest one for a lot of us. It's simply this: stop talking. That's it. Don't interrupt, don't finish their sentences, just be quiet. Then, number 2, prepare yourself to listen. This means before you even walk into the conversation, you mentally clear the deck, put your own worries and your to-do list aside, be fully present. All right, number 3, Put the speaker at ease. Make them feel comfortable. A little nod, some eye contact. These small things send a powerful message that you're engaged and it's a safe space to talk. And number 4 is huge in our modern world. Remove distractions. Seriously, put the phone away, turn it over. Every time you peek at it, you are shouting, something else is more important than you right now. Don't be that person.
Okay, now let's talk about your internal mindset. Number 5 is empathize. And this is key. You don't have to agree with a person. You just have to try to understand their point of view. See the world from their side for a second. And then there's number 6, be patient. This is a tough one. We hate silence, right? We always want to jump in and fill it. Don't. Let there be pauses. Sometimes that's where the real magic happens, where the most important thoughts come out.
Next up, number 7, avoid personal prejudice. Look, we all have them, biases. The trick is to be aware of them and actively push them to the side so you can hear what's actually being said, not what your biases want you to hear. And number 8, listen to the tone. The words are only part of the story. I'm fine can mean a million different things, right? You gotta listen to the music behind the lyrics, the emotion, the hesitation. That tells you what's really going on. And finally, we zoom out for our last 2 principles. Number 9 is listen for ideas, not just words. Don't get bogged down in every little detail and lose the plot. Try to grasp the main point, the big picture they're painting for you. And number 10, this is a biggie. Watch for nonverbal communication. A huge chunk of what people are saying isn't coming out of their mouths. You have to listen with your eyes too. What is their posture, their expression, telling you?
Okay, that brings us to our final section, where this all comes together. We're about to see how listening is way more than just taking in information. It's actually the secret to becoming a powerful speaker. And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. Great listening is not a passive activity. It is the engine that drives great speaking. We think of them as 2 different skills, but they're completely intertwined. How can you be a good speaker if you don't know your audience? Listening is how you learn. It's your intel. It tells you what matters to people, what they're confused by, what they actually need to hear from you. Good listening is the foundation for anything impactful you will ever say out loud.
So I'm going to leave you with the challenge. In your very next conversation, could be in 5 minutes, could be tomorrow, I want you to notice what your brain is doing. Are you just waiting for your turn to talk, rehearsing your perfect response while they're still speaking? Or are you going to make a different choice? The conscious choice to truly listen.